Welcome to the Insight series on personal well-being. Our question for this week is, major daily health-related lifestyle choices. What about the importance of your general attitudes about life? Number 34. As we think about the importance of your general attitudes about life, first point we want to make is all of us face each day with a range of general attitudes about our lives. These attitudes have a large influence on our personal sense of well-being. But exactly what are attitudes? Attitudes are the ways that we look at life. They are the ways we choose to see and respond to events, situations, people, and ourselves. They are largely shaped by our experiences, by feelings and emotions, and by our fears. The second point is that our attitudes are not something that happened to us. Each of us chooses our attitudes, and we also decide which attitudes are going to be our default attitudes about life. And the default attitudes are essentially ones we go back to routinely, frequently in our lives. The third point is the psychological literature contains very little consensus around attitudes. The main elements of consensus are that attitudes are extremely important in shaping our lives, and the level of satisfaction with our lives that we generally experience, and our personal well-being. There are more than 300 examples of types of attitudes mentioned in the psychological literature. Fourth point is that many of our attitudes are subject to constant change and revision, while there are also long-standing attitudes that remain relatively stable throughout our lives. The fifth point is that it is generally agreed that positive attitudes are much better than negative attitudes for success in life. The sixth point is that positive attitudes are usually optimistic and envision or expect favorable results while seeing the bright or good side of life. People with positive attitudes are usually enjoyable to be around. They usually contribute in a positive way to the situation. The seventh point is that negative attitudes are usually pessimistic and envision or expect unfavorable results while seeing the dark or bad side of life. People with negative attitudes are usually not very enjoyable to be around. They usually don't contribute in a good way to the situation. The eighth point is on the following page are some examples of typical positive and negative attitudes. Take some time to review the lists and assess whether you have any of these attitudes. The ninth and last point is consider spending some time to intentionally cultivate more positive attitudes for your life. Also consider at the same time which of the negative attitudes would be best to leave behind. In summary, our personal well-being is shaped by many daily choices. One of those choices involves our general attitudes about life. These attitudes are usually shaped by our experiences, our feelings and emotions, and our fears. There are literally hundreds of possible positive and negative attitudes that we can hold. It is best for us to become aware of our general attitudes and then to intentionally adopt more positive attitudes and drop some of our negative attitudes. In terms of examples of positive attitudes, here's a listing that you can essentially review. You can stop the video as well and take a look at each of these. But these are a lot of the common types of positive attitudes that one can experience. In terms of negative attitudes, again, here's a list of fairly common negative attitudes. And again, in summary, these are just a few of the hundreds of possible attitudes we can adopt. The positive attitudes help move us toward more success in life and also toward a higher level of personal well-being. Now, for more information on this topic, try using these terms in your web browser: positive attitudes about life, negative attitudes about life, tips for changing your attitudes. Next week, we will address the question, what about the quality of your interactions with others? We encourage you to live well, live wise, live long.